leaders over in Serie A as AC Milan had a shock loss, which opened up the door for their nearest and dearest Internazionale. But guess what? It could all change this weekend as the two Milan teams lock heads. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction show. Today we take a look at matchday number 23 out in the Serie Division, whatever. Serie A, and we'll get to that. Oh, Serie, we'll get to that in just one second. If you're new, Serie A, we'll get to that in just one second. If you're new to the channel, stop what you're doing, swallow what you're doing, and bang the subscribe. Keep you banging today with all things Serie A related, World Football related, Blackburn Rovers related. We're going to all hear not live today, of course. Lots of stuff going on this week, which has prohibited the live action. Anyway, before we get into the deep end, big shout out, of course, to you guys, the Patreonos, and of course the new boys in town. When I'm talking about Patreon, I'll show you what I mean about Patreon. Of course, these lovely specimens went right here. Where am I talking about? I'll show you right here, right now. Job of the deep end. They went to patreon.com/Roverseas and put their faith behind this madman. That's the same me right here, I think. It might be a little bit squished, but it's me. It is me, and you can do the same by joining one of these tiers. Of course, if you're inclined to do so, of course, it does get you access to a lot of stuff, including, look at this, back in the day, that was my streaming schedule on Twitch, when the Gold Cup, the Copa America Cup, and the African Cup of Nations was all on. We had all various predictions shows going on there. It was madness, but it was good. And if those guys that were there then, they know the deal. They know the bloody deal. So I do appreciate those guys there. So if you are interested, check that sucker out. But until then, though, we're going to jump in the deep end and take a look at how we all got on last round out in Serie A. So here we go, boys and girls. We'll turn the clock back to, when was it? It was all the way back to Friday, the 12th of February. Of course, Benevento. They went to Bologna and they drew. That's right, 1-1 was the final score in the end. Actually, with the 1-0 win. Nico Sanzoni on the score. Nicolas Valola getting the goal for Benevento to give them a share of the spoils. Also, Torino Genoa couldn't be separated 0-0 in the end on that badger. I actually went the 2-1 for Torino. Shame on me. And of course, Napoli upset the grain with a 1-0 win over Juventus. Lorenzo Insigne on the score sheet from the penalty spot, giving them the win. Actually went the 2-2 draw. I thought they could be separated, but I wish I was kind of on the right wavelength. But a 1-0 win for Napoli actually throws them in a right old can of worms. Juventus now down to 4th right now. Meanwhile, Spezia, they caused the surprise of the weekend. 2-0 win over AC Milan. My boys, my tip for the title. Not my boys, but my tip for the title. Giulio Maggiore on the score sheet. Simone Bastoni on the score sheet as well to give them the win. Actually went with a 3-0 win for AC Milan, as did a lot of us. Meanwhile, Roma against Udinese was a comfortable win for Roma. 3-0 win on the night. 2-0 for me. Not too shabby. Goal scorers Jordan Vertut with a brace. Pedro as well on the score sheet to give themselves a comfortable win. Cagliari against Atalanta was a 2-1 win for my boys. Of course, my pick. 1-0 was the final score though. So Atalanta keeping back to winning ways and also keeping themselves on for European adventures next season. Luis Muriel on the score sheet giving them the win. Meanwhile, my boys, my actual boys, Sampdoria got a win, of course, over Fiorentina 2-1 in the end. I got that one bang on the nose. That's right. Goodness gracious me. Kelto Baldi on the score sheet. Fabio Quagliarella still scoring goals. Dusan Badic, Vlahovic on the score sheet, of course, for Fiorentina, but unfortunately they didn't get nothing. Meanwhile, Sassuolo did get the win as well with a 1-0 win. Was my pick. 2-1 win was the final score over Crotone. Goodness gracious me. Goal scores on that day. Domenico Berardi on the score sheet. Francesco Caputo. Adam Unis on the score sheet as well for Crotone. And of course, on Sunday, Inter Milan did beat Lazio in a comfortable 3-1 win, and I called it, boys. Absolutely called it. 3-1 win in the end. Romelu Lukaku with a brace. Lautaro Martinez as well. Sergio Milinkovic-Savic on the score sheet. Just to let you know, Lukaku is outright leader. In fact, she joint leader alongside Ronaldo as top goal scorer at the moment. Kicking on further though into the final game, which was on Monday night. Verona against Parma ended up as a 2-1 win. I got that one bang on the nose as well. When I'm on form, I'm on form, lads. I'm on bloody form. You can't stop me when I'm on form. Alberto Grassi with a big for OG. Antonio Barac on the score sheet for Verona, giving them 2 goals. Giuliacci Cucca on the score sheet for Parma, but unfortunately not good enough, and they are in trouble. We'll take a look at the table. Here it comes. Alleluia. Of course, Inter Milan leading the charge by 1 point. AC Milan, of course, in second. 6 points clear over Roma. Juventus stand on 4th, and of course, it looks too little too late for them. They do have a game in hand, and win that game in hand, they'll be 3rd. Of course, Napoli are in 5th. Of course, closing in on Champions League themselves, as are Atalanta and Lazio. It is that tight. It could go anyway. Any which way you can. Maybe you won't even even rule out Sampdoria making a surge up that table. Meanwhile, the foot of the table, Crotone look toast. Parma also look doomed. And Cagliari also in there. Torino hanging on for dear life. I think it realistically is between these 4 teams down here. I don't think anyone else is in that conversation unless Benevento drop like a stone. Anyway, let's take a look at how you all got on there, shall we? Of course, kicking on off 0-3 in the shitface gang, 3-6 like me, you're in the straight face, and 7+ your top bins, boys. Let's have a look at this, shall we? Of course, Benjamin Fabian did bits, absolutely fantastic. Well done, welcome to the show, brother. James PCFC, Arglate, you did shit, mate. Alex well also did good. Shane O'Donnell, well done, of course, fantastic for you. Costas K, he's okay. Magic Monday did bits. Game Joy also did good. Vincent Hong, he did alright. Answorth, not too shabby. Russell Frost had a shocker. Yannick Buster also did poop. D-Bet the Great, not too shabby, of course. Georgika Isif. There you go, brother. Not too shabby. Ultra Overround. Well done, of course. Jacob Nungare, he's okay. He's absolutely better than okay. Fantastic as well. I'm sure not too bad. Esquivel did shite, but it's okay. Gerald Landers also did good. Tom Stein also did very well. Alan FC did bits. Olachi Ojo, fantastic. Kodiko, not too shabby, of course. And the D-Man, not too bad. And Shabbat, kicking ass and taking names right there. And of course, who puts Matt Gunner in the corner? I do. He did alright as well. Let's take a look at the overall leaderboard for this week and this week alone. If your name's Frosty, or Yannick Buster, or James PCFC, or even Omar Esquivel, just don't even look at it. But if your name's Jacob Nungare, you're not just okay. You're the king ping this week, alongside Vincent Hong, of course. So bow down to your kings. They are here, and they are glorious. Look at them, look at them, look at them, look at them reign supreme with the crowns on their heads. Of course, let's have a look at the overall situation out in the Benjamin Fabian, I've robbed you blind, Benjamin Fabian. Stop what you're doing. Stop what you're doing. We got to give Benjamin Fabian his own individual round of applause with a fantastic. She's also, in fact, editor, correct this, will you? And just for you, here he comes. Here he comes. There he is. Benjamin Fabiansko is kingpin this week, alongside his nearest and dearest. But of course, Omaji Monday still leads by a comfortable margin, and I'm trying to look at who's gained in on him here. Alex Weller, you probably blew your lines. You maybe moved. No, you kept your heat on him. Yannick Busters probably, did he move in on him? I don't think so either. Tom Stain, all these other guys, they're ultra. Who made the biggest ground on Omaji Monday? I can't see it. It's probably Vincent Hong, I think, in 7th. He's closed in on him a little bit, but realistically, he's not good enough. Anyway, let's get into, of course, the deep end, of course. Take a look at the next round of matches that kick off. When do they kick off? They kick off on Friday, the 19th of February, double match day between, of course, Fiorentina, Spezia, of course, Cagliari against Torino. We're going to kick it off, though, with Fiorentina against Spezia. Of course, the British are just the one time in recent succession. Of course, that was back in this season, of course, October. It was in Spezia. It was a 2-2 draw, of course. Goal scorers on the day, of course, Daniel Verdi on score sheet, Diego Farias on score sheet for Spezia, Jermaine Pazzella, Cristiano Biriaggi on score sheet for Fiorentina in a game that was evenly split, of course. Meanwhile, heading into this back-to-back wins for Spezia, beating Sassuolo, of course, beating AC Milan, gives them a bit of hope. Meanwhile, just one win the past 6 games for Fiorentina, the one was against Crotone, all the way back at the end of January. Look at the bookies odds on this one then, shall we? Computer's gone a little bit tits at the moment. A little bit tits. Of course, Fiorentina 11-10 for the victory there. Stone Cold Favourites 25 is draw. 3-1 is your Spezia. Of course, heading into this badge, of course, Spezia coming out in 13th and win for them. They could actually go as high as 11th. Fiorentina are down 16th at the moment. They need to get their shit together and win for them. They could actually go up as high as 11th above Spezia in the process. I think Spezia will lose this one. They've been on a good bit of form, but it will end. And Fiorentina will get the win and climb the table, move the chains, of course. Cagliari taking, of course, Torino relegation 6 point. If I ever did see one, of course, Cagliari enter this one in the relegation zone. Torino could be in it at the end of it. Of course, played to their last 6 teams for Cagliari, 1 for Torino, and 3 draws last round. In Cagliari is a 4-2 win for Cagliari back in June 2020. Nethian Nandez on the score sheet, Giovanni Simeone, Radaj Nongolan on the score sheet as well, João Pedro as well, Bremer and Andrea Bagliotti on the score sheet. For Torino have actually drawn the last 5 matches in Serie A. Cagliari have actually lost their 8 of the last 9 matches, also in the division. Of course, heading into this year, 5 defeats past 6 games in all competitions for Cagliari. Their only positive was a draw against Sassuolo. Meanwhile, 5 draws on the spin for Torino. Give them hope, but unfortunately, it's not wins. They're not wins. 5 draws is not good enough. Of course, heading into this 17-10 for Cagliari, 64 is your Torino, 12-5 is your draw. Of course, Torino coming out and 17th to win for them. They could close in on Fiorentina, but they're going nowhere. As for Cagliari, they could actually leapfrog Torino and put them in the relegation zone with a win, of course. As for me, I've gone with a win for Cagliari to turn the corner here to give them hope. But of course, will it happen? We'll have to wait and see. Next, of course, Lazio against my boys Sampdoria, of course, played to their last 6. 4 wins for Sampdoria. 4 wins for Lazio, 1 win for Sampdoria, 1 draw. Last round in Lazio was a 5-1 win for Lazio back in January 2020. Felipe Quesedo on the score sheet. Isirio Immobile with a hat-trick. Bastos as well. Cario Lintni on the score sheet for Sampdoria. Julian Chabogo himself sent off. They did play each other in San Sampdoria this season with a 3-0 win. Back in October, Quagliarella, Scorsese, Argulio and Damsgaard as well. Heading into the Lazio have actually won the last 5 matches at home. They've actually won 4 games of the past 6 games in all competitions. Losing to Atalanta a couple of games back and also losing to Inter Milan just the other day. Meanwhile, just 1 defeat past 5 for Sampdoria. That was against Juventus, of course, 2 or 3 games ago. As for this one, though, bookies odds, 30-8 for Lazio. They are Stone Cold favourite, 16-5 is your 4-1 is your Sampdoria. Sampdoria coming at you in 10th and win for them. They could actually go as high as 9th. Lazio coming into in 7th and win for them. They could go as high as 3rd in the table, boys. They'll get the win. Unfortunately, my boys will lose. 3-1 win to Lazio in the end. Genoa, of course, flying high into 11th up against Hellas Verona, who are actually in 9th at the moment, of course, locking horns this Saturday. Played in the last 6, 3 for Genoa, 1 for Verona, and 2 draws last round in Genoa. Was a 3-0 win for Genoa back in August 2020. Antonio Stambri on the score sheet. Christian Romero also with a goal. He also got himself sent off before, as did Francesco Castagna and Sofian Adamabat in a bit of a heated exchange at the end there. Genoa have actually kept clean sheet 5 of the last 6 matches in the Serie A. Of course, Genoa winning the last 3 home matches. Verona have actually lost the last 3 on the road. Of course, 3 wins, 3 defeats, the last 6 games for Verona. Of course, unbeaten the last 5. That's Genoa big at 3 wins, 2 draws to boot in all competitions. Of course, heading into this though, Torino, are not in this game. Genoa 90-10 for the victory. 2-1 is your 8-5 is your Verona. Of course, Verona come out at you in 9th win for them. They could actually go above Sassuolo into 8th. As for Genoa in 11th, the win for them. They could close it in on 10th. There's a bit of a gap between themselves and 10th at the moment. Of course, I'm going on this one with a win for Verona. 2-1 win on the road to keep their dreams of Europe on the cards. Next, of course, Sassuolo up against Bologna. Let's take a look at this one then, shall we? Of course, played the last 6, 3 for Sassuolo, 2 for Bologna, 1 draw. Last round in Sassuolo's back in November 2019. Francesco Caputo with a brace, Boga as well. Ricardo Ostiglione on the score for Bologna. They did play each other in Bologna back in October. It was a 7-goal thriller going in favour of Sassuolo. Berardi, Caputo, Jurcic and Tomiyasu with the big fat OG. The goals for Sassuolo. Seriano, Svanberg and Ostellini on the score sheet once again for Bologna, but unfortunately they lost. Heading into this, just 1 win the past 6 games for Bologna. Scrap that. 1 win the past 6 games for Sassuolo. That was against Crotone just the other day. Meanwhile, just 1 win the past 4 games for Bologna. That was against Parma, of course, a couple of games back, but they're unbeaten in the last 2. Meanwhile, Sassuolo's bookies odds on this one. We currently have 65 for them for the victory. They are the favourites. 25 is your 11-5 is your Bologna. Bologna coming at you out in, of course, 12 for win for them. They could go 11th. As for Sassuolo, they're 8th. They could close in on 7th, but of course they can't overtake them just yet. Win for Sassuolo for me. 2-0 win at home, no problems asked. Next, of course, Parma, who are in trouble up against Udinese, who are doing all right this season. Of course, played each other in the last 5, 3 for Parma, 1 for Udinese, 1 draw. Last round in Parma was a 2-0 win for Parma back in January 2020. Goal scorers that day, Ricardo Quagliarella and Dejan Kulievski on the score sheet. Meanwhile, of course, they played each other this season in Udinese. It was a 5-goal thriller going in favour of Udinese, 3-2 win. Meanwhile, Parma have actually failed to score in the last 8 home matches, also losing 9 in the last 10 matches as well. Heading into this year, 5 defeats on the spin in all competitions, including the Coppa Italia. As for Udinese, just 1 defeat the past 5. That 1 defeat was against Roma just the other day. Look at the bookies odds. On this one, Parma coming at you 11-4 for the victory. 9-4 is your draw. 21-20 is your Udinese. They are Stone Cold favourites. They're coming at you. And a 14th in the win for them. They could go as high as 11th. Parma are actually 19th in the win for them. They could actually go above 80. Cagliari into 18th on this one. I think Udinese will win this one with a 2-1 win. Parma look lost at the moment. Then, of course, it's the big one. It's the Milan derby. Of course, AC Milan taking, of course, Internazionale. Played each other in the last 6. Just 1 win for AC, 5 for Inter Milan, no draws. Last round in Milan was a 2-0 win for Internazionale back in September 2019. Marco Brozovic on the score sheet, Romelu Lukaku as well. They did play each other actually twice this season. One time in Internazionale with the hosts, of course, 2-1 win for AC Milan back in the league. However, Internazionale levelled the score, of course, by beating them in the Coppa Italia with a 2-1 win just the other day. Meanwhile, heading into this, though, Milan have actually scored at least 2 goals in 10 of the last 12 home matches. Of course, Internazionale, though, are undefeated in 16 of the last 17 away matches, of course. Heading into this, though, AC Milan just 2 wins in the past 6 games. Sorry, 2 wins in the past 5 games, losing to Atalanta, losing to Internazionale and losing to Spezia, of course. Well, the first are just 1 defeat the past 6 games at Internazionale. That was against Juventus, of course, in the Coppa Italia. The bookies' odds on this one will probably favour... Yep, they do favour, of course, the opposition. That's Inter Milan 21-20. The I favourites 13-5 is your AC Milan, 5-2 is your draw. Of course, AC Milan coming at you in second win for them. They could go. Oh, top of the pops, top of the pops. Oh yeah, top of the pops. But a win for Inter Milan will also keep them top of the pops. Of course, I've got to go with it. It's all or nothing. All or nothing. AC Milan to win this one, 3-1 win, comfortable in the end. Next to another fruity one. Atalanta taking on Napoli. Of course, played the last 6, 3 for Atalanta, 1 for Napoli, 2 draws. Last round in Atalanta was, of course, this season in the old Coppa Italia was a 3-1 win. Zapata Pessina with a couple of goals there, and Herving Lozano get the 1-0 goal for Napoli. They did play each other this season also in Napoli, of course, back in back in October as a 4-1 win for Napoli. In fact, Lozano with a brace, Politano, Osimhen on score sheet, Shamlamas as well. Heading into this, though, Atalanta undefeated in 12 of the last 13 matches in Serie A. They're coming into this unbeaten the last 4. That's Napoli. Picking up 2, that's Atalanta. Just 1 defeat the past 6 for them, losing to Lazio, of course, all the way back at the end of Jan. Meanwhile, just 1 win the past 4 games for Napoli. That one was against, of course, Juventus. Is a big one, it was. Meanwhile, the bookies odds on this one, type 1 it is 20-19 on is your Atalanta 5-2 draw, 40-5 is your Napoli. Napoli coming out in 5th. A win for them, they could go as high as 3rd. Atalanta are in 6th. A win for them, they could also go as high as 3rd in the table, depending on what goes on elsewhere. For me, going to go with Atalanta to take this one at home, 2-1 win over Napoli to get their Champions League dream back on the track. Next, of course, Benevento up against Roma, of course, played each other in the last 4 occasions. 1 win for Benevento, 3 for Roma, no draws last time around. In Benevento, in the league, was back in 2017. It was a 4-0 win for Roma, of course. Zecca with the brace, Luciano with a big for OG, Venuti on the score sheet as well with OG. They did finish in Roma back in October, of course. 5-2 win, Pedro Dzeko with a brace, Vatut and Perez on the score sheet with Gianluca Cipriani, Gianluca Lapidula on the score sheet for Benevento as well. Heading into this, though, Benevento actually failed to score or failed to win in the last 6 matches in Serie A. They're coming into this just 1 defeat though in the past 4 games. The rest have been draws. Meanwhile, 3 wins in the past 4 games for Roma. Their only hiccup was a loss to Juventus. Look at the bookies odds on this one then, shall we? Coming at you. Benevento coming at you 9-2 for the victory, 20-11 on is your Roma, 10-3 is your draw. Of course, Roma coming at you out in 3rd. Win for them, they could close in on 2nd. As for Benevento, they're coming in 15th. And win for them, they could actually go as high as 11th in the table. That's not going to happen though. I think Roma will win this one comfortably, 2-0 in the end. Next, of course, Juventus taking on Crotone. This is the final game of the weekend. Of course, it's on the Monday night. 4 wins in the past 6 games between 2 sides for Juventus. The other 2 were draws, of course, last time around. In Turin was back in November 2017. 3-0 win for Juventus. Goal scorers on the day, Mario Mandzukic on the score sheet, Mattia Di Cicilio and Mehdi Benito on the score sheet. They did play each other this season out in Crotone. It was a 1-1 draw back in October. Of course, Juventus are undefeated in 36 of the last 38 home matches. Crotone have actually lost their last 5 on the road. Heading into this, though, just 1 win in the past 6 games for Crotone. That was against Benevento. Of course, that was back in the middle of Jan. 4-1 win. Meanwhile, just 1 defeat the past 5 games for Juventus. Of course, that was against Napoli just the other day. Look at the bookies odds on this one then, shall we? Of course, Juventus 6-1 on for the victory. They are nailed on 30-2, which draw 14-1 is Crotone. Of course, Crotone got in the foot of the table with a win for them. They could go as high as 18th. Juventus are actually in 4th. Win for them. They could go 3rd in the table. They'll get the win, get back to winning ways. Of course, comfortably 2-0 in the end. Ronaldo with a brace. Of course, that's what I think will happen out in Serie A. Be sure to check out what I think what's going on around the other divisions as well. This is the table, what it will look like at the end of it. AC Milan back on top. Of course, Inter Milan back in 2nd. Roma up to 3rd, will remain in 3rd, and Juventus will remain in 4th. Crotone, Parma, Torino going down as it stands. Belotti needs a new club. That's what I think about happen. Of course, be sure you get your picks in nice and early for this, and of course, make sure you check out the rest on the channel. Until then, though, be sure to give the video some love and smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe. Of course, if you're new, also check out the links down below. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, and of course, I'm on Patreon. If you want to support the channel in another way, that's the best place to do it. But until then, I'll see you all next time around. Be safe, mask up, and of course, back next week for some more Serie A.